What's up? Welcome in. Hoge Jahns with you. It is Bears versus Southern Bears this week.
Warmer climate Bears. Looking
And the
forward
bear
to that.
and the Bears are practicing outside in the snow.
At least one day. They're
So-
going inside, I believe. If
I
I
know.
understood Matt Eberflus correctly, they will be going inside for part of today and all of Friday.
I mean, that makes sense. Mark Carmen, my co-host at CHGO, was in the locker room yesterday, and we're getting towards the end of the locker room, and he just comes up to me. He goes, "Hey, low key, I just get the feeling I don't think the players like that they practice outside today." I'm like, "Yeah, would you?" Think about it. If you're like a 23, 24-year-old,
Kid from Texas.
kid from Texas who's up here playing in the north for the first time, and it's starting to get cold. This is your first week, like, where you've seen snow. You're playing in Atlanta. I mean, heck, if you're even just Justin Fields, who's from Georgia, like
You're
like,
wondering what's going on.
like,
Well,
why are we playing? Why are we practicing outside?
feel free to correct me, but this was the first time in my 11 plus years covering the Bears where they actually warmed up inside, right? Warmed up inside the Walter Payton Center and then went to the practice fields behind Hallis Hall.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I
Ever.
don't remember that happening.
I do remember that Lovey always practiced outside.
Yes.
Loved to practice outside, even if it was cold. I remember going out there talking to the assistant coaches on the field in full winter gear, hat included, because it was so cold. And then I remember Mark Trestman. Anytime it flirted with 45 degrees, he was inside the Walter Payton Dome.
Even when they'd be playing in 20 degrees.
Yes.
At Soldier Field that weekend.
Yes. Didn't like the cold.
By the way, I don't think this is that big of a deal. You're right in that it's relatively common. And to be fair, like, as a coach, you want as much space as you can. And there's only one field with tight sidelines inside the Walter Payton Center. There's no really room for the kickers to kick. There's not even goalposts in there. They have a net up that has like the fake goalposts up that are just like pieces of tape on the netting. So I get it. Want to get a full and were they in pads yesterday?
Well, let me repeat what Matt Eberflus said, or go back to what he said. They take off their pads at some point in practice. They keep them on for individual drills, and they take them off for team. There is still some, to use a Matt Nagy word, although Matt Eberflus uses it too, there's still some thud in Bears practices going on.
Yeah. Well, there's we're getting close to that limit on like a certain amount of the padded practices can only be after week 11, I think it is. So what week is it right now? Week 11?
It's week 11.
So I think after this week, or maybe including this week, there's like only 4 more they can have or something like that. They definitely tightened down on that towards the end of the season.
I do enjoy, this is the part of the year where like the rookies, if I feel like I have a conversation with the rookie about this every year, it's the players from the South, from like Florida or from Georgia or from Texas, who are talking amongst their teammates about which winter jacket to buy because it's so cold.
Yeah.
They've never bought winter coats, and now they need one here in Chicago.
And then there's idiots like me who've lived here my entire life, and I think I was like 34 or 33 when I finally like invested in a really nice winter coat.
Yeah.
And I was
only
like,
last like 1 or 2 years though.
I got a nice Eddie Bauer one now. I was thinking about wearing the house today, so you might see it. Because it is freaking cold outside right now.
It'll be worse tomorrow.
It's, I mean, I don't wear it a lot. I wear it like only when it's in the 20s.
When you used to be the sideline reporter for Northwestern?
No. See, the thing I learned about that, and I've carried it over to coaching now, you don't want big, bulky things on you because it actually ends up restricting your movement. You feel like you can't move, and then you move less, and then you end up actually being colder. So it took me a few years, and I finally figured out we had like a 22-degree game in Minnesota one year. And actually, I think it was even colder than that. It might have been in the teens. There was a hilarious video of all the players, which I think they did again last week when they were in Minnesota, all going out for warm-ups without shirts on. Doesn't seem smart, but, Northwestern's a smart school, though. Anyway, I figured out more layers underneath and just wear a hoodie.
You see
And
that
then
a
you
lot,
end up then you end up moving around a lot, and the layers end up keeping you warm, and you're fine. So there's a little tip for you. As long as you're moving, if you're standing, like if you're at
oh, that's a soundbite a little bit.
If you're standing in like the stands at Soldier Field, I'd recommend putting on a heavy jacket because you're not really moving there.
All right, quickly. Did you see the snow game yesterday between Eastern Michigan and Western Michigan?
I had it on one of the TVs. Yeah, I wasn't really watching it.
My sons loved it. And
yeah.
I can't. They went to bed before it was over, but that snowman, that fan made.
Oh,
there's a bunch of regular snowman, and then this one fan actually made a man. Like sitting
that was
down.
Impressive.
So check that out. Google it. Snowman at.
And he
Central
had a hat
Michigan.
on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the kid need to put his hat back on, but.
Yeah. That was it's fun having action games on. I still can't get like really into them, but
get those kids some coats on the side.
Better than nothing. Packers play tonight, so that'll be on your TV. All right, well, welcome in. We got Bears and Falcons to preview today on the pod. Follow us on Twitter at Adam Hoge, at Adam Jahns. You can read Johnsy on The Athletic, theathletic.com/Hoge Jahns. Kevin Fishbane is there as well. You can find me at allchgo.com, which part of kind of a big announcement today for CHGO. The almost all of our content now on the website at allchgo.com is free and unlocked for you to read. You still have to be a member to get my Bears Things newsletter, but everything else I write will be good to go and free for you up there. And the membership is still going to be a pretty awesome perk for all of our events and tailgates and merchandise, like this hoodie I'm wearing, things like that. So if you're interested in any of that, please check it out at allchgo.com. That stuff was just announced this morning. Appreciate all the support there. There is one thing, by the way, appreciate all the, I think we both very, very, very much appreciate all the positive response to our episode on Tuesday with JT O'Sullivan. Guess who, Johns, told me in the locker room yesterday that for the first time ever, he listened to a full Hoge Jahns episode from start to finish.
Full?
Yeah. Said he's listened to plenty of episodes in the past, bits and pieces, maybe a guest here, whenever he feels like it's necessary. But this time on Tuesday's episode, he actually listened from start to finish. Guess who it was?
Justin Fields.
No. No, that'd be cool, though. But it wasn't him. It was not a player.
Jeff Joniak.
Yes.
Did he like it?
I don't know. He didn't say.
You never know.
Does Joniak like anything besides the Bears winning football games?
We love that guy. We love that guy.
No, but he thought it was pretty good. And then he was like, but I think what he was really fishing for, he's like, should I really sign up for that Patreon QB school? I'm like, I like it.
Yeah.
You're an X's and O's guy. I think you would enjoy it. Yeah. I think you would. He grinds some tape, Joniak. All right. And then there's one other quick topic we got to get to before we break this down, because it's kind of been glossed over all week. I tried to give you some space, but what the hell happened on Saturday?
Congratulations. I will bring you, maybe you're going to be at House all tomorrow?
I'll be there today and tomorrow.
I'll bring you some Portillo's tomorrow.
Ooh.
The St. Ignatius Wolfpack beat my Notre Dame Dons. That option offense you run
is a pain in the ass.
It's a pain in the ass where you guys do the motion, like you shift right before the snap. Holy hell, is that a pain in the ass. Look, it was a cold day. Admittedly, we were a little bit banged up. I think we're down to like our third and fourth linebackers, but no excuses. No excuses at all. You guys really took it to us. So congratulations to you guys. That option is something. And that defensive lineman, offensive lineman, I'm blanking on his name, Justin Scott.
Yes.
The top-rated junior in the state of Illinois, goes to your school. offers from Alabama to Miami to Notre Dame to Oregon, I believe. All over the country. They're all after him. He is impressive. They would pull him, and I'd be like, oh, my gosh, look out. Like,
he's massive.
Yes. Very good player. Very good scheme on a cold day. Brought my boys down to Salerno's. Went to the game. It was a good day. Still a good day.
Yeah, what'd you think about the environment down there?
I didn't know they had stands in the end zones. I was unaware of that.
Yeah, I don't know if they must have added those over the years, or maybe even for the playoffs. Because when I was there, that was a long time ago, and the football program was just starting, but they didn't even they put that whole turf field down while I was a student there, and then there was only stands on one side, and there weren't enough of them. I think they weren't legally allowed to even host home games because the games were being played somewhere else, even though we had this really nice field. So they've had to add to that over the years to make it like an actual home field.
Yeah, I like it. If I would do it again, I would follow the lead of the guys in the alley, the fans in the alley. This is a pro move. They were watching the game, have a good view of the game, and they were drinking in the alley while watching the game.
Behind the fence?
Behind the fence.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That is a pro move by those St. Ignatius alum or fathers.
Back by the is Al's Beef still right there?
Al's Beef is right there. We had a friend of mine somehow got over the fence and made an Al's Beef run during the game and brought some back.
That is clutch. That's pure Chicago right there.
That happened. Yes, he was handing out beefs in the stands. I'm not lying that this actually happened.
That's hilarious. Yeah. I love that. Well, Ignatius moves on to play Prairie Ridge.
Another triple option.
Yeah, it's like a mirror image, and it's going to be like 20 degrees on Saturday. So,
but it's the perfect scheme for cold games like that.
Yeah,
like Notre Dame spread. They do a lot of outside zone stuff. Your running back's very good. Prairie Ridge,
Vinny Rugai.
Yes, Prairie Ridge's quarterback is very good, but the scheme fits perfectly for cold games
and win too. Like we played Sycamore's a similar team. I mean, they pounded us a couple weeks ago, and like the wind didn't really matter for them, and because that was that really gusty Saturday, and it affected us more. So, yeah, good for them.
The triple option still lives in the state of Illinois.
Not my favorite kind of offense personally, but it's high school football, so any way to victory.
That's true. But congrats to you and your Wolfpack, and good luck.
It's pretty cool for them. I mean, like to not even. When I was there, we didn't even have a football team. It's crazy. And now they're in the state semis. So it'd be really cool to see them go downstate. So I'll be keeping an eye on that Saturday. I also want to give, speaking of Ignatius, send our thoughts out to the JV hockey team. A terrible bus accident they were in on Sunday night. Honestly, hearing from John Chandler, the school president, who did an interview, I know on the news, I know him a little bit. Just it sounds like it could have been way worse than it was. But the students that were injured certainly hope they're getting better. And honestly, it seems like a miracle that wasn't worse.
Yeah.
So I hate to say it, it's always like in the back of your head even when I was traveling with Northwestern and stuff, it's like just.
Bus accident.
Yeah, you just you know what I mean. Team. Like in the middle of the night, sometimes you're driving. The weather's not always great.
For those who are listening from elsewhere, so the St. Ignatius hockey team, JV team, right?
Yeah, it's their JV
was
team
coming back from a tournament in Indiana, and their bus at night was struck by a drunk driver. And
a truck,
semi-truck,
semi-truck, who was just speeding through a red light like an idiot.
Yeah, scary. So thoughts to them.
Yeah, and so anyway, all right. Interesting week. This is a weird thing, Johns. As we transition to Bears and Falcons, this is obviously we've been joking since the summer about all the Bears connections on this team, and yet I'd like to start this podcast by saying of any opponent the Bears have played so far this season, this is the one I know the least about.
You think that? We're going to talk to Josh Kendall here from The Athletic pretty soon. And I have like the full rundown of it's not so much the players. It's not so much the front office. I was surprised by how many coaches
Yeah.
Former Bears coaches there were. Like
They're
everybody
all-
knows Ryan Pace is there. Everybody knows Phil Emery is there. Eddie Goldman was there. But it's the coaches. The amount of coaches that stood out to me.
Well, do you want to run through it?
Real quick?
Yeah.
No, let's have fun with Josh when he comes up.
Okay.
Let's have fun with Josh. Let's have fun with Josh.
All
You want
right,
to get
we'll
to the
save
3 big questions real quick? And then
let's do
we'll
it.
get okay. All right, let's start with this. Number 1. How much credit does Ryan Pace deserve for the Bears' future with Justin Fields? Ryan Pace, as we now know, is in the Falcons front office working for his old friend Terry Fontenot.
Well, I think he gets a lot. I mean, he's the GM who drafted him, and that'll always be the case. But I do think it would be unfair to not point, to just ignore the everything that happened last year, because I think it begs the question: if Pace and Nagy had continued on,
would Justin Fields be Justin Fields?
Because the development, it's great that you draft these guys, but regardless of the position, the player, you have to develop them. And I think it's fairly obvious that Justin Fields in a much better situation now than he was last year.
The Bears had my thoughts on training camp last year. That plan for him just felt it didn't function right. Looking for the soundbite. What a waste of time training camp was, guys. But it was. It was.
The whole year was a waste of time.
Yeah. With all due respect to Andy Dalton, the selection of Justin Fields changed everything. They had no idea they had a plan. I think that's what you have to be thankful for Ryan Pace for, is that he and Joey Lane, his right-hand man, had come up with a plan to go after Justin Fields if he fell to the right spot. That's just made sense in terms of draft pick compensation. Before the draft, they had that deal worked out with the Giants if Justin Fields was there, and they executed their plan perfectly. They celebrated in Hallis Hall. I have a old story. Maybe I'll share it on Twitter if you're not familiar with it, if you're listening from England or whatnot, detailing how the Bears made that move. But yes, Pace's obsession with getting the quarterback position right and his aggressiveness in doing so, I think, should always be viewed favorably, at least with the future of Justin Fields and him developing the way he is.
And to be honest, they also got relatively lucky that draft played out the way it did.
Yes. But then you got to be prepared to act on that luck.
Sure. I still feel like if the Panthers had drafted Patrick Surtain instead of J.C. Horn, I think Justin Fields is in Denver.
Yeah.
But
or how the team that Pace currently works for passed on him. Didn't they take Kyle Pitts?
Yeah.
And then Matt Ryan is gone 1 year later. Marcus Mariota is there.
They're certainly on the list of teams that screwed that up, in my opinion.
Certain teams just aren't ready to draft a quarterback, but Pace always was willing to, knowing how important the position is.
No, it was a complicated but well thought out move, and honestly, Matt Nagy deserves some credit too. Because he was very involved in the scouting process. There's those shots at Ohio State's Pro Day where he's hanging out with Ryan Day. They're watching him. But I think it's kind of also clear that they probably weren't the best guys to develop him. So also credit to Luke Getsy and Matt Eberflus and Andrew Janocko, and Tom Pelissero came out with his list of young head coaches young assistant coaches under the age of 45 that he does every year that could be head coaching candidates. And not surprisingly, I expected to see Luke Getsy's name on that list, and he is.
Well, he's part of that coaching tree that has had success everywhere in the NFL. Minnesota, now Miami are included. So, of course, teams are going to be calling the Bears about Luke Getsy. You just hope, like if you're the Bears, teams pass over him for a year Now teams
Like
have
at
been
least
more,
a year, yeah.
yeah, because you want to see at least 2 years of this Luke Getsy, Justin Fields combination. Andrew Janocko would be the next in line, but you want at least one more year of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Number 2. How much will the Bears miss running back Khalil Herbert? Herbert was just placed on injured reserve, so he's going to miss at least 4 weeks with a hip injury.
Well, let me ask you a question. Where would you put the Bears running back room in terms of like their positional depth? In terms of like where on the Bears roster do they have good depth?
Well, that room.
Yeah.
But I would say I'd have to see it from Treston Ebner more. Like
Sure.
David Montgomery, there's a reason why he's still their number one. They just love the violence that he brings. There's a certain intangible to it. Doesn't have the yards per carry that Khalil Herbert does. Maybe doesn't have the vision or the patience that Herbert does, but they like the 1-2 combination of them. I'm not sure that Ebner can do with what Khalil Herbert is doing.
Well, I'm not sure either. I'm not sure the Bears know yet. I think they're hoping he can. They drafted him for this scheme. They drafted him this year. But I guess my point is you would put the running back position in the area of depth. And then who's the Bears' best running back?
Well, their best threat, but it's Justin Fields.
Right. So I guess my point is like they already have a deep running back room. And then, oh, by the way, their actual best runner is not even one of the running backs. He's the quarterback.
Yeah.
So I think they can survive without him. And I say that not wanting to minimize anything that Khalil Herbert's done this year because he is their home run threat. I do think that they're going to miss him a little bit. But it's really weird to look at the stats and be like, hey, Khalil Herbert's tied at the top in the league at yards per carry with 6. He has almost as many carries as David Montgomery. His yards per carry is way lower, almost half. But I think David Montgomery picks up the harder, dirtier, more important yards in tight situations when you got to have it. So I almost feel
I know what
like
you're saying, but Herbert still moves the ball because of that yards per carry. He was on pace for 1,000 yards as their number 2 running back. That's something.
Yes, he's a good player. He's a good player. I feel like and we've seen Montgomery go out. That's another thing, though. We've seen Montgomery go out and then be okay. And I feel like it's the same thing. It's going to be the same thing with Herbert. It's the running back spot.
Well, the running game is also functioning differently, like you said, with Justin Fields. I don't think they want to have as many carries as he just had. I think they'll take serious consideration with the heaviness he's feeling with his legs.
Yeah, that's actually a small thing I wanted to bring up that kind of worries me.
Yeah, you want to protect him as much as you can, knowing how important he is. Number 3. How much are you buying, or should I say selling, Adam Hoge, the Jack Sanborn hype that you helped create, Adam Hoge?
I didn't do anything. Jack Sanborn did this.
He did do this.
With his really good play. I don't know. I have to say, as the president of the Jack Sanborn whatever club, even I feel like I've been the one this week being like, whoa, okay, let's
it's okay to slow
pump
it down.
the brakes a little bit.
This is what I'll say. Like I don't want to say rolled my eyes when like Alan Williams said like, oh, he looked like he belonged. Like I get it, that's coach talk sometimes. But then he goes out against the Lions. Forget looking like he belonged. He looked like the Bears' best defensive player at times.
Yeah, I think he was the Bears' defensive player. He might have been the Bears' best player.
Yes, 2 sacks. Let him in sacks. Let him in tackles. He should have had an interception.
Yeah.
Trifecta right there. He was outstanding.
Yeah.
He was outstanding.
I mean, I think he's a player. I felt strongly he could develop into a starter. I didn't think he'd be the best player on defense. But that also, I think, says a lot about the players around him on defense right now.
All right, quickly before we go through over-unders, what do you think of the addition of Taco Charlton on a Wednesday when it should have been on a Tuesday?
Right? That's what I was saying.
Come on, Ryan Poles.
But I think they did technically make the addition Tuesday, just because he was already there Wednesday. Right?
It's true. So we could call it Taco Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday was Taco Tuesday.
I have one takeaway on this. there's no need for over analysis on this. The Bears pass rush stinks.
Yeah.
The current crew or the old crew wasn't getting it done, so let's bring in some guys who can try to get it done. Matty Eberflus is very familiar with Taco Charlton from their days in Dallas. Let's give it a shot.
Sure. Former first-round pick. Didn't work out there. Has bounced around a lot. Not very optimistic about it.
Yeah. Just maybe give us a sack and a half. All right.
Probably not.
Over-unders real quick before we get to Josh Kendall. Let's go back to Jack Sanborn. This is from Athens Shores. Jack Sanborn over-under on tackles this week, 8.5, and sack, half.
I think I'll go over.
Yeah, both.
I think definitely the tackles. And if you just look at this whole season, like before Sanborn was out there, it was Roquan getting the sacks.
Right. Roquan Smith was your leading sacker.
And Mariota's the kind of guy that might just run into one, on the outside where a linebacker's pursuing. So, yeah, I think I'll take the over.
I like that too. I like this. We have a combo here from Gene, Chuck, Austin, and Brandon. Let's go with this one first. Ryan Pace, ex-Bear staff mentions on the broadcast, set at 1.5.
Over.
I'm going to go over.
There's too many of them.
I think you get video of Pace talking to Justin Fields before the game, and then you get one mention or two during the game, and then Phil Emery will get one as well. So that's.
I was going to say, I think you even throw in an Emery mention.
Yeah, so that's 3 right there. References to former Bears players now in Atlanta. Chuck has it at 2.5. Austin has it at 3.5. I'm going to go. Let's set it at 3.5 because there's so many of them, and one in Patterson can get the ball, so you might just get a lot of the former.
Well, just to
Bears.
clarify, it can't just be them mentioning their names, right? You got to be mentioning how they used to play for the Bears.
Former Bear, ex-Bear.
I mean, there's definitely going to be a graphic they put up.
Yes, so that's 1. So let's set it at 3.5.
Okay,
and I'm going to go over. I think you get 4.
Jameer Bird's been relatively. I'm going to go with 3.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess that's technically the under.
Now this is from Brandon. Calling the Falcons the Atlanta Bears during the broadcast. Half. I'm going to go over with 1.
Yeah, I think there might be 1 too. This might also be one of those things where like only we care about it in Chicago.
Nah, the broadcast should have fun with this, right?
They should.
Like, how can you not look at all the former Bears and have fun with it? Not have fun with it.
Is this Joe Davis and
that's your
Moose? I think it's Moose this week.
It is. I like this one. You ready for this one? From Sam Burns and Cloudy Future. Those are 2 different people.
Ooh, this is a good one.
Michael Vick, Justin Fields comparisons. And then Cloudy Future took it to another level with Justin Fields, Michael Vick highlight run video clips. Both
Over.
Are set. Yeah, both are going over. Both are going. Both are at 1.5. Both are going over.
I was going to go over whatever you said. Yeah, because this is a good excuse to get some Vic highlights in there. And
who doesn't like some Vic highlights?
Yeah.
All right.
Love it.
This one is from Guar, Cleveland. This one is for you specifically. Bears get screwed by ref calls, 2.5.
Probably over based on how it's going. I thought I was relatively tame this week. I kind of actually... People did not like that I pointed out that the Bears also got away with some calls.
They did.
They had 2 false starts that didn't get called and a blatant illegal motion where Byron Pringle was moving forward to block way before the snap. That was just a terribly called game.
It was. It was a couple pass interference penalties missed. One on Colton
based on what we've seen, I think it'll go over again.
Yeah. Based on some Bears fans' convictions, way over.
I think it's Trey Blake is the ref this week. First year as a referee. So get ready for that.
Fall is chaos in your pants. You're overheating one second, freezing the next. To be ready for anything, you need underwear that can handle everything. It's time for Tommy John underwear. In Tommy John underwear, you're that much more comfortable, so you can do everything better. Name a problem with other underwear, and Tommy John solved it. Tommy John's breathable, lightweight fabric has 4 times the stretch of competing brands. They come with a no wedgie guarantee, thanks to a non-rolling waistband and legs that never ride up. Plus, they feature a horizontal quick draw fly. Hammock pouch support stops the awkward sling and slap, giving everyone something to be grateful for. With over 18 million pairs sold, people love Tommy John underwear. That's why Tommy John doesn't have customers, they have fanatics. At Team Hoge Jahns, we're always in the press box. We're always on the go. Life is constantly unpredictable. There's one thing we need to be able to predict, and that's that our underwear is going to cooperate. And that's all possible thanks to our friends over at Tommy John. Go to TommyJohn.com/athletic right now for 20% off your first order. 20% off at TommyJohn.com/athletic. TommyJohn.com/athletic. See site for details.
Oh, it's Christmas card season. Everybody's busy. Got to get them out. Sometimes you forget, but seasonal excitement or dread is really starting to settle in, especially for small businesses. Slaying through traffic to the post office, inbox more like a blizzard than a winter wonderland, rushing to send cards and gifts to your loyal clients. It's not too late to get your holiday mailing and shipping under control with Stamps.com. That's Stamps.com. Sign up now and you'll be printing your own postage in minutes. Stamps.com is your one-stop shop for all your shipping and mailing needs. For more than 20 years, Stamps.com has been indispensable for over 1 million businesses. Get access to the USPS and UPS services you need to run your business right from your computer. No lines, no traffic, no hassle. Even save money with major discounts on USPS and UPS shipping rates, up to 86% off. So this holiday season, trade late nights for silent nights and get started with Stamps.com today. It's Stamps.com. Sign up with promo code ADAMS for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click the microphone at the top of the page, and enter code ADAMS. Get a 4-week trial, free postage, and a digital scale at www.stamps.com/ADAMS. Thanks to Stamps.com for sponsoring the show.
I've had my Helix mattress for a couple of years now and still love it as much as I did when we first got it. Actually had a guest sleep on it this past weekend, and in the morning they woke up like, where'd you get that mattress? What kind of mattress is it? I said, it's Helix, and you need to check it out because Helix Sleep is a premium mattress brand that provides tailored mattresses based on your unique sleep preferences. Their lineup includes 14 unique mattresses, including a collection of luxury models, a mattress for big and tall sleepers, and even a mattress made just for kids. And all you gotta do is take the Helix Sleep quiz and find your perfect mattress in under 2 minutes. It's really easy. Mine spit out the Dusk mattress right away. They sent it to me. It comes in a box. It's really easy to open, and then the mattress just sort of expands right in front of you. It's actually pretty cool to watch because everybody is unique. Now, everybody sleeps differently, and that's why Helix has several different mattress models to choose from. They're each designed for specific sleep positions and feel preferences. Models with memory foam layers to provide optimal pressure relief if you sleep on your side. They have models that are more responsive foam to cradle your body for essential support in stomach and back sleeping situations. So really, you got to take the quiz. You answer the questions. It's really simple to do, and it spits out the one that you should be sleeping on. Soft, medium, firm, depending on how you sleep, side, back, stomach, however you sleep. You can sleep upside down. They probably have a mattress for that too. So right now, Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our Hoge Jahns listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/Adam. Again, helixsleep.com/Adam. Take the quiz. Take advantage of this offer. $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. helixsleep.com/Adam. With Helix, better sleep starts now.
It's time to knock that new business idea out of the park with Shopify, the all-in-one commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. Forget the off-season work. Shopify makes it simple to sell to anyone from anywhere. Whether you're selling warm-ups or wall hangers, It's time to start selling with Shopify and join the platform simplifying commerce for millions of businesses worldwide. With Shopify, you'll customize your online store to your brand, discover new customers, and build relationships that create diehard fans. Shopify fields all the sales channels to grow a winning business, from an in-person POS system to an all-in-one e-commerce platform, even across social media platforms like TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And thanks to 24/7 support and free on-demand business courses, Shopify is on your team every step of the way. It's how every minute, new sellers around the world score their first sale with Shopify, and you can too. As a consumer, I really love the Shopify app because I just follow the businesses I love on there and I can shop from them at any time with all my information pre-saved. It's a great way to support small businesses I love with Shopify. When you're ready to take your winning idea to the world, team up with Shopify, the commerce platform powering millions of businesses, down the street and around the globe. Try out Shopify for free today and start selling anywhere. This is Possibility, powered by Shopify. Sign up for a free trial at shopify.com/Adams, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Adams to start selling online today. That's shopify.com/Adams.
You may start noticing that there are these strange tall boys of beer in the bottled water section of your local stores. Well, it's not beer. It's actually mountain spring water from the Alps, and it's called Liquid Death. Why is this water called Liquid Death? Well, because it will actually brutally murder your thirst. Their infinitely recyclable tallboy cans are helping to bring death to plastic bottles. They also donate 10% of their profits from every can sold to help kill plastic pollution. You can have fun with it. You can open it up anywhere. It looks like a beer, but it's not beer, and it tastes great. There's these new flavors, different flavors that you like. You can bring it to Hallis Hall. Drink it in the media room if you want. You can drink it while pregnant. You can do a lot of different things. It tastes great, it looks cool, and you're helping stop pollution. So go get Liquid Death at your local 7-Eleven, Jewel, Target, or CVS, or find a Liquid Death retailer near you with their store locator tool at liquiddeath.com/Adam. That's liquiddeath.com/Adam.
All right, joining us now is Josh Kendall. He covers the Falcons for The Athletic. Follow him on Twitter at Josh The Athletic, as you should be doing with the Bears opponents every week. Josh, thank you for jumping on today. We were just joking, talking about all the former Bears connections down there in Atlanta. It's a big storyline up here, at least this week, as we get into this game.
Yeah, there was a real influx after Ryan Pace came aboard, and one of them, had an outsized impact, I think, from what we all expected, which was Elijah Wilkinson, who stepped in immediately as the left guard and kind of solidified that spot until 3 weeks ago now, where he goes on the IR with a knee injury. Then the guy that they plug in that hole goes on the IR with a knee injury, and now they're looking at their third string left guard and the prospect of potentially putting Jalen Mayfield, second-year guy who started 16 games there last year, but really, really struggled, back in that spot just out of necessity. So, I think that, the absence of Elijah Wilkinson, of all things, will have an impact on the Falcons this week.
All right, let's give everybody a rundown of who is there. Feel free to chime in. We got Phil Emery and Ryan Pace in the front office. This is what I thought was really interesting. Here are the coaches. Dave Ragone, Charles London, Michael Peachy. Those are two former Bears running backs coaches. They're Charles London's coaching quarterbacks, though, right?
Yes.
Ted Monachino, great quote. Remember that, Adam?
Yeah.
Great quote. That was Chuck Pagano's right-hand man. And here's a name from the past. Blast from the past right here. John Hoke.
Mm-hmm.
Coach in the secondary?
Yes.
Old Lovie Smith guy. And here are the players. Abdullah Anderson, Nick Kwiatkowski, Jermaine Ifedi, everybody's favorite former Bear in Chicago. Cordell Patterson, Demir Bird. You mentioned Elijah Wilkinson. He's an IR now, right? And then Eddie Goldman was there for a little bit. Now he's retired.
I don't even know if Goldman was ever here. Goldman was here on paper, on a piece of paper. Physically, I don't know anybody who saw his body on the campus. So, Eddie Goldman in spirit.
We didn't know if he was ever in Chicago sometimes either.
There you go.
You just kind of had to guess. Yeah, that one didn't really work out. So the one that kind of, let's talk about Dave Ragone a little bit, because, this was even last year when he goes down there and Cordell Patterson goes down there, and it's like, every team Cordero Patterson's been on until he got to Atlanta, including the Bears, could never figure out how to use him properly in the offense. And now all of a sudden he's a touchdown fantasy football machine. How much credit does Dave Ragone get for that? And what exactly is Ragone's role in the offense, in the game planning, the calls that are getting called? How is that all working up there with the head coach?
For starters, I think Ragone gets a good amount of credit for that, just as the voice in Arthur Smith's ear to say, hey, listen, I've seen this guy. He's on the market for cheap. We need cheap guys. What if we did this with him? What if we used him in this way? And Arthur Smith is, who considers himself a solutions guy, thought, yeah, that might work. And, I think Arthur Smith considers himself one of the smarter guys in the room, and he may be right. So, they had a necessity. They plugged Cordero in, and it's been a great fit. So I think Dave gets credit for that. Where Dave fits in big picture, he's caught in a tough spot, if we can call any of these guys in a tough spot. He's the OC for a head coach who calls the entire offense, whose fingerprints are on the entire offense. This is not Dave Ragone's offense. This is Arthur Smith's offense. What Dave's role is here is Arthur's conduit to those guys. Kind of a deep cut with this Falcons team is you saw both coordinators, Dean Pease and Dave Ragone, come out of the box onto the field this year. And Arthur Smith has credited that with helping them make some strides. I think Dave Ragone is an interpreter at times with Arthur Smith and his guys.
How would you encapsulate the roles that Phil Emery and Ryan Pace have in that front office? My understanding is that Phil scouts more, Ryan's there with Terry Fontenot. Take us through it if you can.
Your understanding is as good as mine. This is a buttoned up ship. This is another Arthur Smithism. He likes to take shots at organizations essentially that are not fortresses. He will often unsolicited take shots at leaks that come out of organizations that clearly come out of organizations. They pride themselves on being a very buttoned down ship. So we don't see or hear a lot from Terry Fontenot, and nothing from the former Bears guys, from the guys behind the scenes. So they give the vibe that they think they've got secrets worth protecting, and they're just not gonna. Peeks behind the curtain are very few and far between here.
All right, looking at it from the outside, as a Justin Fields makes a homecoming to the Atlanta area, it sure seems like that in hindsight would have been a really good fit to have him drafted by the Falcons that year in his home state of Georgia. Is that a storyline down there in Atlanta? Do they talk about that, or is it, Kyle Pitts was an obvious pick? You take who's maybe the best player on the board there, and you move on.
That's been a storyline since they took Kyle Pitts. The only change in the narration is, who should they have taken instead of Kyle Pitts? At one point it was Trey Lance. But now you go back 6 weeks ago, and folks were talking about Justin Fields like a bust. So I don't think anybody until this last month was saying, well, look at you idiots, you should have taken Justin Fields. Now everybody says, well, look, you idiots, you should have taken Justin Fields. I think that the lack of production from Kyle Pitts this year snowballs that conversation to some degree. So that's going to be a huge topic this week. It's going to be, I would imagine, an even bigger topic, Sunday at 3 p.m. when Fields crosses 150 yards rushing in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and people are just disgusted. Long term, I think the Falcons still feel good about the pick that they made, still feel really good about Kyle Pitts' future, et cetera, et cetera. There's clearly a reason they didn't take Justin Fields. They would never say it. They publicly will say that they are big Justin Fields fans. I will say, if you look at this version of Justin Fields with what Arthur Smith's offense looks like, boy, it looks like they could have been a good fit. I mean, Arthur Smith wants to run the ball and throw deep off of it. This is what we've seen from Justin Fields in the last month.
Yeah.
This is what we've seen him do really, really well. So, yeah, I mean, right now, throw me in with the pitchfork crowd that says, why didn't you draft Justin Fields? That was a no-brainer.
So you kind of highlighted. They're very similar teams, very run-heavy teams. Tell us about Marcus Mariota. Like, obviously, he's not a long-term QB. How's he playing? Where's his fit? I mean, how long did they stick this out with Mariota?
That's a great question. At this point, going backwards in the order that you asked him, at this point, that looks like they stick with him throughout the season. I think if you're not going to make a change coming off of what was a really startling performance against Carolina with a mini bye, you're just not going to make that change. Marcus Mariota is, in some ways, as good as Atlanta could have hoped for. If you rewind the clock a little bit, they put themselves in a bad situation, as did everybody else, in my opinion, who pursued Deshaun Watson. What the Falcons ended up with was no Deshaun Watson and a veteran quarterback who was kind of pissed off about the whole situation and said, I'm gonna go somewhere else. They sent him to Indianapolis the same day they get Marcus Mariota, which I would argue at that point was about as good as they could have hoped for. He's a guy who had experience in Arthur Smith's offense. He's a guy who's great in the locker room. He's a guy who's beloved by his teammates. You know, that's all great. On the field, we've seen his limitations, the biggest of which is his inability to consistently throw that deep ball, which this offense depends on to be fully unlocked. Everybody in Atlanta wants to see Desmond Ridder, and I think Desmond Ridder probably could throw that deep ball more effectively than Marcus has this season. The problem is the Falcons clearly don't think that Desmond Ridder is ready to do all the stuff necessary to get you to that deep ball opportunity. Marcus Mariota does a ton of pre-snap stuff, does a ton of directing traffic. The Falcons bring personnel on and off the field per snap more than any team in the league. There are a lot of moving parts in this offense. There'll be a lot for a rookie to do. Marcus Mariota is mobile enough that he adds a little something to the run game, not Justin Fields level to the run game. So Marcus Mariota has done what the Falcons have asked him to do. He is who I think the Falcons knew he was going to be. He's a bridge from Matt Ryan to something. The Falcons just don't know what the something is yet, or how long the bridge is going to have to be.
All right, I don't know if you've gotten this far this week or not, but are you leaning one way or the other with a pick for this game?
I'm terrible at these picks. If you read our expert picks on The Athletic, you'll see how truly terrible I am at these. Right now, I would take the Bears. The logic is, if we've got 4 units, Atlanta offense and defense, Chicago offense and defense, I feel like we know what we're getting from 3 of those 4. The Bears defense and the Falcons defense are not good and are not going to be good. The Bears offense of the last month is going to be good. And we don't know what the hell we're getting from the Falcons offense. So based on that logic, I mean, I think, gun to my head, I'm taking the Bears.
Yeah, place your money on the best player on the field, and that player belongs to the Bears, and it's going to really enrage that fan base, I feel like, by the end of the day down there in Atlanta.
He's gonna look like a number 7 quarterback who used to play in Atlanta, and it's gonna make some Falcons fans really, really mad.
Do you think we get a lot of like Michael Vick highlights and Justin Fields like
we
montage,
should,
like in the broadcast at least?
I mean, it's an interesting comparison. That they're different types of runners as best as I can tell, but I mean, in terms of electric with their legs and big play threats with their legs, Fields of the last month. This is hyperbole, and I try to stay away from it. Fields of the last month is the closest thing, I can remember to Vic.
Yeah, and they could both fire the ball when they really needed to
right.
as well.
Yes.
So that's the other comparison too that I think people lean on. I still think Vic was probably a little bit more elusive, and Justin probably has a little bit more power than Vic. But
they're a different sort of animal to handle, but they are both.
Yeah.
I
think Fields might be the better passer by the end of the day here.
We'll see. He's still got to prove that. All right, Josh, thanks so much. We really appreciate the insight, and for a game between 2 teams that aren't that good, it still should be an interesting one. Should
be fun and should be fast. Should go quickly.
Yeah, there we go.
All
right, Josh Kendall, thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Josh.
All right, there he is. Let's get back to, I guess we got to make our predictions. All right.
That means it's going to happen in like 2 weeks from now when I don't.
Yeah, I was
think.
gonna say then you have guaranteed another slow week for Chase Claypool. What was the one we got on Twitter this morning that was like, "Hey, Johnsy, can you predict this?"
Luke
so that it
Getzey will be
happens?
a head coach in the NFL next
Oh,
year.
yeah.
Fine. If you want it, I'll give it to you. You watch, you listen, you read us. Luke Getzey will be a head coach in the NFL next year. You happy?
Yes. So now he'll be back. That's good. That's good. All right. Bold prediction for me. I think that the Bears, man, it's just I want to go higher because this isn't really like that high, but I do think the Bears take the ball away twice. But that, based on what they've done in recent weeks, that is bold because they haven't really been doing it.
Well, it's been there. The opportunities have been there. Travis Gibson, balls bouncing around. Jack Sanborn had it. Jalen Johnson, well, it was a bad call by the officials.
It was a bad call.
Forget Jalen Johnson's part on that. Just an awful call.
It was just a terrible call. It was ridiculous. But I do, maybe I'm basing this too much in the John's last Thursday, got to Denver. We were there. We were having a dinner with the family. Game was sort of on over here. Then I got back to the room. I watched the last 5 minutes of the game. And even though I didn't watch a whole lot of the game, I must have seen 6 passes that wanted to be intercepted. I'm talking about the Falcons-Panthers game last week. And so I just feel like there's going to be opportunities that the Bears have to take advantage of. So, all right, in terms of a prediction for the game, like Josh, I have been awful at this year. I think I'm 2-7 or whatever it is.
Ooh,
now.
I'm 6-4, 7-3 maybe.
I don't know. How have you been paid? The Bears are so hard to pick. All right, you go first, then I'm just going to copy your pick.
All right. We have Fox Noon, Bears and Falcons. Falcons are -3. I'm taking the Bears by a touchdown, Adam Hoge. The Bears by a touchdown. I'm going to go back to my score I had the other day, 30-23 Bears.
That's similar to what I had last week.
That is exactly what I had last week.
Well, my prediction last week would have been pretty damn good without the pick 6. I thought the Bears would win by about a touchdown or whatever. I don't
If
even
the pick 6 isn't there, it's a 30-24 game.
Yeah. I honestly, I think Josh broke it down pretty well. That's kind of where I am too. At least last week, you could look at the Lions offense and be like, it functions. They moved the ball. They've scored a lot of points earlier in the year. It kind of dipped, sure, but this Falcons offense, well, I guess where it does scare me is in the running game. I mean, the Bears aren't exactly prolific at stopping the run. But I just feel like they're going to have a harder time getting into the end zone than the Bears are. And I do think you heard Justin talking yesterday about, I like playing on the turf.
He says he's faster on the turf.
Because there's been a lot of talk this week about, is the turf safe? Is it causing injuries? And Justin yesterday was like, I get where they're coming from, but I want to play on the turf.
Yeah. He also said, what did he say? Played on turf my whole life.
Yeah, which is true.
Other than Soldier Field.
Right.
I think he hits 200 yards passing, by the way.
Ooh.
I don't know if the rushing numbers are at, Josh said 150. I don't know if they get that high. Maybe they're around 80, 90. But I think they move the ball through the air a bit too.
All right. Officially, I'm going to say 28 to 24 Bears.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, 28-24.
Okay.
4-point win.
Bears win.
Yeah.
So take that and think about that for a little bit.
All right. We got other games to fly through here. We go to a Thursday nighter because it's Green Bay, Packers, Titans tonight. I have to say, Johns, I have been trying for 5 years now to get up to Green Bay for a game where I can actually be in the stands. Because we've been up to Lambeau a lot. I've never sat in the stands there. And I love the stadium. I'd like to experience that. And I'm like, one of these years there's going to be a Thursday or Monday night game where the Bears aren't playing, where I can get up there. It's not that long of a drive. So I thought about doing it this week. And then I was like, hell no, it's going to be 19 degrees.
Yeah, my advice would be, unless you have that hunting gear they all wear up there, some of it bright orange, then don't bother.
No, my living room is going to be just fine tonight by the fireplace.
I'm going to pick the Packers in this one. They're given 3, and I don't think they've figured everything out. I think the Titans. Okay, maybe the Titans run it down their throats a little bit with Derrick Henry, but I'm changing my mind. You can talk now.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I'm sorry. I'm gonna take the Titans. They're a more complete team. There's nothing flashy or exciting about the Titans. They're well coached though, and they always find a way. Like even in that game a couple weeks ago against the Chiefs when they were in Kansas City and they lost in the end, like it was still like a weirdly odd, impressive performance, even though they didn't do anything flashy.
Mike
it was
Vrabel's a good coach. He is.
All right,
you got me. Well, it wasn't hard. You convinced me. Give me the points in the Titans.
Yeah, I think they get it done. And I think it's a kind of an ugly game. Although I will say, I am very interested to see if Christian Watson keeps what he did last week going. Because
he had drops in that game too, I believe.
Yeah, he's very, what was his scouting report? Had as many drops in college as he did touchdowns. It's a red flag. But he still delivered the touchdowns, and they beat the Cowboys. So, that's fine. All right. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. We move to Sunday. CBS thinks they're picking a game that we have no idea where it's going to be played. Browns at Bills. The Bills are an 8-point favorite. There's this crazy lake effect thing going on with the Great Lakes this week. If you live on the east side of any of the lakes, especially in Buffalo, you're going to get pounded. I think it's already started now, and it might snow all the way through Sunday morning. Think about that. So they're talking about a crazy amount of snow, possibly having to move this game to Detroit. They can't move it to Minnesota, which is usually their preferred location because the Vikings have a home game this week. So that'll be interesting, but the Bills are an 8-point favorite. Back-to-back losses for the Bills.
Josh Allen's not feeling himself. Got that elbow injury, right? Elbow injury.
Yeah.
Give me the Browns covering. Bills win. I would love to see them play in the snow. I like snow games. I watched some of that snow game last night, even if it was a college game. Give me the give me the Browns covering. Bills win.
I'm gonna take the Bills to cover. They were winning that game just fine against the Vikings. The Vikings are better than the Browns. I think they kick it in high gear and they figure it out. So I'll take the Bills.
Point is, those are some numbers.
Fox, noon. Lions and Giants in New York or in New Jersey. Giants are a 3-point home favorite over the Lions. You think it'd be more?
Yeah. Give me the Giants a little bit here. Yeah, they cover. It's not going to be a flashy, good-looking win. They never are. They never seem to be for the Giants. But give me the Giants flirting with a 4 or 5-point win.
Yeah, I think I'll take the Giants too. I'm not buying the Lions at all. The Giants are just better. So I'll agree with you on that one.
Good job by Equinemius St. John. He's going to get the block.
CBS 325 Cowboys at Vikings. Pretty good game. Cowboys are road favorites here. Vikings, despite being, what are they, 8-1 now?
Yeah.
8-1. Did you see Paul Allen, the video that went viral yesterday? I love Paul Allen. I'm glad he's getting the national recognition. He's just different the way he calls games.
So good.
You lucky suckers. That part's amazing. Check it out. It's on Twitter. It's everywhere. LeBron James tweeted it today.
Yeah.
He's the Vikings play-by-play voice. We should try to get him on maybe before the
add him to our Mike McDaniel list.
Yeah. Well, PA I've had PA on the radio a couple times. He can be hard to get. He's very much in demand, I'm sure. But he's incredible. The Vikings fans up there love him. So I'm going to take the Vikings. Yeah, they keep finding a way. They're back at home. The Cowboys are coming off a loss, and I have to say there are a couple picks I made last week that in hindsight were really dumb. Okay, one of them was the Seahawks, just like, yo, they're flying from Seattle to Germany. You're just gonna
Pick them.
like that's come on, man. That's a lot of jet lag, more than Tampa. And yeah, the other one was for some reason trusting Mike McCarthy at Lambeau Field against the Packers. That's just dumb. I don't know why you would thought that. So I'm going to do this.
I was thinking that like 10 seconds ago when we went through a Packers pick.
Yeah. So I'm going to do the same thing. Mike McCarthy against the Vikings. Yeah, I'm going to take the Vikings. All right.
And that's the facts. That's 100% truth.
All right, NBC. This is the Sunday night game, 7:20. We got the Chiefs at Chargers. This was like a marquee game back in, was that week 2? A while ago. It was kind of a fun game. The Chargers, to me, the Chargers are a good example of a team that found their young quarterback and have a lot of other issues. So just a lesson that the QB doesn't always solve everything. And the Chargers are 5.5-point home underdog here. There might be more Chiefs fans there than Chargers fans on Sunday.
Yes. Chiefs by 10. It just strikes me as a game that's going to be close to the end, and it's going to be Mahomes who's making good on his drives, and not Justin Herbert.
I agree with you. 5.5 is too much for me. I think the Chargers cover it. I think the Chargers' problem is they can't find a way to win these types of games, but I think they'll keep it close.
I think you're getting that field goal with like 3 minutes left or 2 minutes
maybe
left, where it's
the nail.
Still, even by a touchdown lead, though, that covers. But that's what I'm going with.
All right. Well, we got to get out of here. Appreciate everybody listening, watching on YouTube. Make sure you go check out our YouTube channel. Hit subscribe. Hit the like button if you're already watching on YouTube. Appreciate you. Set the notifications. You'll know when we go live post-game Sunday. When you hit that little bell, it'll pop up on your phone. We always try to go around 5, but everybody's busy. Post-game obligations doesn't always happen right on time. So if you have the notifications, you'll know when we are live post-game. Bears and Falcons from Atlanta. And make sure, if you're listening the old school way, rate and review the pod. Tell a friend, most importantly. Text a Bears fan right now. Say, hey, check out Hoge Jahns. Appreciate each and every one of you. And the merch, obvyshirts.com for all of our merchandise. Again, in the month of November, the portion of the proceeds go to the 22Q Family Foundation. And thank you to everybody that is helping out there. All right. We will talk to you post-game on Sunday.
See ya.